This is the Drop the Clutch podcast, a fan-run podcast full of guests, controversy, and opinions about the sport we love that sometimes drives us insane. Yep, we're going. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to episode 27 of Drop the Clutch. This week, I'm joined by Nick as a regular co-host and a guest for the second time on this podcast, Paul Bowen. Hi, Paul. How are you?
How you doing? You okay?
Not bad. How are you, Nick?
So, knackered. This new job's absolutely killing me. Well, both jobs are killing me.
I can imagine.
It is what it is. Working nights, eh?
Especially when it's going darker as well, earlier. I bet that's a killer.
I sleep through the only bit of sun we get nowadays.
How's the pie business, Paul?
It's pie, steady away. It's getting into pie season now. Obviously, it gets a bit colder, the nights draw in, so hopefully sales pick up a little bit as it gets darker. So yeah, it's I don't like the winter, but the winter's better for sales.
Yeah, so I might have to snide in a little order for a big old box of Bowens.
Still trying to convince my mum to buy some.
Yeah.
I keep eating them when I'm at Bellevue. If I'm on the grandstand side, it's all I get. Not gonna lie, I've even managed to blag Ruth into getting them as well now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to convince my mum to put an order in.
Yeah.
Della Paul told her she has to.
Yeah.
Nearly there. I said
there.
he's got vegetarian options as well because she's vegetarian. I was like, oh, I might have a look. I was like, please.
So I think we're doing vegan cheese now for £1. So quick.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, should we jump into some Speedway chat?
Let's have it.
The playoffs were supposed to start this week for the Premiership, but got washed out.
Mm-hmm.
Called
and
it.
To be honest, if the weather up north was anything like it was in the Midlands yesterday, then it had every right being called off, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. Bellevue's a great track, a great all-weather track. And I bet you it was actually very close in it calling because, you know, I was there at the British final and it looked like a bit of a swamp. But you know what? It rode okay and it is rideable when it's wet, that track. But I just think the pressure of the TV being there, you know what I mean, all the rain that they've had previously as well, it probably is the right decision. In fact, I'm not saying probably, it is the right decision. And not only that,
I can say hand on heart, it is because I live across the road from the stadium and it has rained literally for a week and a half solid.
That's what I mean. It's just, you know, it's one spell's all right, but going back a few days and it's been raining and it's soaked in. You got to remember it's dangerous. You know, if you hit a soft spot, but not only that as well. You know, when it's forecast is so bad, people were already saying on like Sunday, is it on tomorrow? Like, well, hang on a minute, we've not got to tomorrow yet.
It was a chance to get to Monday.
Yeah, but with that being how it was already, a lot of the fans probably won't bother travelling. So as a club, you're probably better off just calling it because at the end of the day, you need the crowd.
Sadly, they left it too late, in my opinion, though, because I was reading on the groups on Facebook that people had travelled up from Ipswich and were 8 miles from the stadium when it got called.
Oh. Yeah, but again, it may be just the fact that it's one of them. You're damned if you call it too early. You're damned if you call it too late.
No, I get that. Bellevue's usual strategy, though, is around 1 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
They call it as a club.
And to be fair, we was doing a big pie order, and even then they were like, "We're going to try and sort it out at 12 and then 1." Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because again, like they've got like our pies going, they've got Eurosport there, so you know it is very hard, and I think as a sport we do need to try and stay on more than off, especially when it comes to the likes of TV with if go into a sport and say no, well it might be on, it might not, depends if it rains, isn't any good for a broadcaster. But
See, in my opinion, they need to utilise July and August more.
Yeah, but then again, July was the wettest month on record this year.
As a general rule, though, because like this year and last year, there was 3 weeks when the Aces didn't ride.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was 5 weeks the Colts didn't ride.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was
a period.
It was like it's one of them. Really, they should just try and fill as soon as March, April kicks in. Just fly as many as they can in. Do you know what I mean? Keep the season busy up until June, July. Like try and keep July like you set July or August. Try keep July like your August and your August like your September. It probably would help the situation out. But to be fair, like I said, there was a lot of weeks in the UK that are just piss wet through, basically.
Yeah, no, I say, and as you know, I work over the road, so I've seen it in all weathers and all conditions. And I was there for the long track event they did.
Yes, yeah.
Where it was literally a swamp. It was about 6 to 12 inches deep in places.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And then the following Monday was the British final, wasn't it? And it was, oh man, that was wow.
I know. I was reserved for that meeting, and I am so glad I didn't get called out for that.
Were you reserved though,
yeah,
or was it Freddie Holder?
Yeah, so Freddie Holder. Freddie was.
Calvin made me laugh. There's Paul Bowen coming round. Yeah. Paul Bowen, a big giant FH on the side of his bag. Oh no, it's Freddie Holder.
Yeah. So poor Freddie there didn't get the credit, but I'm glad it was him and not me because it was wet.
Oh yes,
but it would have been one hell of a clean-up job on the bikes.
It would, but I'll tell you what, that meeting is the first time I've seen Phil Morris in full swing, and
he was unreal, wasn't he? Sweeping the start line and everything.
Yeah, so basically, before the meeting, we all went in a room, and Phil was just straight with us. He's like, "Look, that track is safe. We believe that track is safe. Let's have communication throughout the meeting. Don't be coming and saying me, oh, it's no good. Do you know what I mean? Let's
reason. Say it's no good and then tell me why.
Yeah, tell me why. Let's not forget the TV's here. You know what I mean? We really need to push this for British Speedway. Do you know what I mean? And he just talked to the ride. Like I come out of that meeting going, well, it's not a track I'd want to ride like this in this condition, but you know what? I'm going to give it a go.
If I get called on, then I'll ride it.
Yeah, but like I felt that as a reserve, but obviously these guys, I don't think any of them turned around and went, no, I'm not riding it. They all said, well, let's give it a go then, and let's go and walk the track. So we all walked the track together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, we had the chat with Phil, and to be honest, I've never seen that communication out of any steward or official since doing Speedway, and Phil was just on another level.
So your opinion then, bringing him in as CEO or whatever his role is, I can't remember.
I'm just gonna say it, like, no offense to like the SCB and all that lot, I think you could get sacked 3 and put Phil in as one of the main guys. Right. He's got some really. I think he needs to be the ultimate leader of Speedway, be it CEO or whatever. You can still have your old timers, giving advice and telling them, well, because again, he says about old timers fixing Speedway and stuff. And I had a good chat with Phil. You've got to remember that's their money, and although that's how it's always been, they know that system works and they get money in their pockets, and because don't forget, Speedway as a business needs to survive. And for that to happen, a club has to make money. Yeah. So you have that battle. But Phil, I know I'm digressing here of what we were talking about, but Phil is just an insane person that I just like. I always thought to myself, like, I reckon I could do a better job at Speedway. He's probably one of the few people I look at and go, he could hands down do a better job than me. And I honestly believe if he's let loose a little bit more and he's allowed a little bit more budget and a little bit more say, Phil Morris could be the saviour of Speedway.
Well, let's see what happens in the AGM over the winter, because it was a new role created for him this season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's only had a little bit of say.
Yeah, he has had a little bit say, and I've talked to him briefly about that say, and he already had kickback on what he's done with the promoters, because like he wants to spend money. Obviously, you got to spend money to make money, and I mean, I think some of them weren't happy about that, but they're just not looking at the bigger picture like he is. He's looking at this as a professional sport.
Look how he does the GPs.
Exactly that. He's took from the GPs into, just look at the Eurosport stuff that's broadcasted. All right, they've got everything's color coded, everything's got all the sponsors on it. They have to push from the banner, they have to stand on the little mats. Do you know what I mean? Little things like that. If you're a sponsor paying to have your name on that banner, that's what you want to see. Mm-hmm. You don't want to see it, it's just in the background somewhere over there.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that at Bellevue, when the Aces and the Colts are riding, they've got the little colour-coded mat out now as well.
Yeah, they have that little colour-coded mat and stuff
you guys
like
have to go on that and then get pushed off from that onto the track.
Yeah, so, and like, again, it's all got the sponsors on it, and it's stuff that represents Speedway. You've got to realise you're putting on a show. And for people to put that money in to promote that show, they want to see a professional show. Yeah. I read his article as well, and I did quite find it funny. You've got people in the pits with their arse crack out, smoking a fag, and a few girlfriends in and whatnot. But really, it needs to be like, you go to an F1 pit, everyone's got the same gear on. You go to MotoGP, everyone's got the same gear on. You know who's in whose corner. You know who's in whose team.
Again, same as the GPs. When you go there, you've got the rider plus 3 mechanics, all wearing either Kevlars or team jerseys.
Yeah, and that's what it literally needs to be. Like the pits needs to be, 1-2 mechanics. You don't need more than 2. I think each rider should get 2 mechanics as the team. Maybe a manager. All have to wear the same kit. And then everybody else is official with a high vis on, or be it, say, Bellevue top or whatever, or British Speedway top, something that they're official. And there's not Dave there having his ham salad butties. You know what I mean?
Pouring in the methanol whilst yamming a ploughman's.
Do you know what I mean? It needs to be.
I fully get it. Because I've walked through the pits myself when I've been at work and gone, so who are you? What are you?
Yeah.
Which rider are you with? What are you supposed to be doing?
One of the first Colts meetings I did, I was fire steward and I had to throw someone out of Luke Muff's pit area because he decided to just walk round in it. And I went, have you got a wristband, mate? What?
Yeah.
Who are you here for? 8 minutes. I went, what's his name? Out. If you've not got the correct accreditation, like you say, and you couldn't even tell me the rider's name, even though it's there in big letters above his head. Then you've got no right being there, have you?
But going back to Ipswich versus Bellevue, that was a shame that was called off. we got a big digress there.
I think all the championship meetings was there supposed to be one on tonight? Because I know there's one being called off tomorrow. The pool fix has been called off tomorrow.
Yeah, pool's been called off tomorrow. There was Glasgow as well. I think Glasgow has been called.
I think that's what Elliot said.
Hang on.
I'm trying to look now at me.
Your work schedule.
Yeah. I've got some tomorrow is off, so I don't know what tomorrow is.
It was meant to be pool tomorrow, wasn't it? But they've called it already.
Yeah. And I don't blame them. Again, like, it's just...
If the weather's even remotely like what it is here, then fair play.
Yeah.
Do it early.
To be fair, that's what I mean. People already are saying, like, is the National League Championship going to be on this Saturday? Because the weather's just shocking all week. But you might as well wait till Friday, Saturday, ain't you, really? Because anything can happen.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the weather
individuals,
forecast
isn't it?
is literally atrocious this week.
Yeah.
It's the
So-
National League individuals, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
This-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're both off tomorrow. Oxford's tomorrow as well.
Yeah, that was it. Was it Oxford and Glasgow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As they've all been rained off so far, so we can't comment on the meetings. Typical Britain, we'll say. Should we do predictions and we think who's going to win the playoffs for both leagues?
For both leagues. Well, after seeing Ipswich at the Knockout Cup, I would have said Ipswich making a massive, strong return. But obviously, Doyle's just every team is so injury stricken at the moment. It's unbelievable.
Apart from Wolves, Wolves are still 100%.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't like to call it. I'd like. It sounds a shame now. Doyle's out. I'd like to say back to Bellevue, just because they've been. You can't end up top of the table for no reason.
Yeah.
It's not happened by mistake. They're at the top.
Sheffield did it last year, sadly.
Yeah, they did, but they come second.
Yeah.
And even that was should
Touch
be
and go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to say Bellevue, but obviously again losing Charles, it's a big hit. That
We've got Norwich back.
Yeah, got Norwich.
He's on the team sheet for Thursday, and
Yeah.
Freddie's number 8.
Yeah, but again, don't forget when you just come back from injury, you're not tip top.
No, I get that, and we don't know what injury Norwich sustained, do we?
Yeah, and do you know what I mean? And it's as a rider, it takes you 1 or 2 races or even meetings to get back into the flow. It's not like a sport where you're like, oh, I'm injured, but I've practiced like 4 days, 5 days a week, and then I'm back out. This is straight back into it. So yeah, no, I'd like to say Bellevue, but yeah, I'll say Bellevue. I'll say Bellevue for the Premiership. For the Championship, that is hard. There is 3 teams there for me that can win it. I'd like to say Glasgow because I'd like to see them win, and I'd like to see them move up. That's what.
Someone's going to have to next season.
Someone's going to have to. Apparently, it's Oxford, but either Oxford or Poole. But to be fair, that's what I mean. I don't get what's going to happen next year because Peterborough are out,
and Wolves are gone.
Wolves are out. So that leaves 5. That's 5?
5 teams, yeah.
So and they need 6. So they do, yeah. So they might just need someone. But then the Championship's going down, losing 1 team.
Are they?
Well, yeah, because the Championship has to come up. 1 Championship at least has to go up. So they go down. I've heard that Berwick in the National League, they're dropping that out of the National League. I hear Edinburgh doing the same. So really,
there's going to be no National League in a bit.
There might be, like say, when people say about 1 big league, there might have to be 1 or 2 leagues because there's not the teams in any of the 3.
Well, the rumours have started at Bellevue again, like they always do towards the end of the season, about the Colts possibly not returning next year. So
yeah, and I get that with speaking to Mark because the Colts is a fantastic thing and they love doing it, and I think Tony and Robin, is it Robin? Tony and Robin, they love the grassroots side and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to, yourself, Nick, to run that stadium costs an arm and a leg.
Oh yeah.
And it's just not viable.
No, I've watched the crowds again all season. Have just got smaller and smaller for the Colts, sadly.
Yeah.
And the boys have had one of the best seasons in recent years as well.
Since I left.
Yeah. Probably is, you know. We haven't got the pie, man.
But to be fair, even I was having a terrible season, so.
I was going to say then, now that you brought that up, what happened?
So basically, I had a motocross race that I'd already had pre-booked for a long, long time, and it meant me missing 2 of the fixtures. And to be fair, with a start, I'd missed a few fixtures, and I've not really had the best season. It's no secret, and I think because I would have gone to the motocross meeting, potentially I'd have faced a ban, which then would meant me getting a ban anyway. So they thought it was easier just to release me.
Fair enough.
And do that, and not only that, like Jack Schmell, he was every meeting that lad was there. He was really trying. Do you know what I mean? He wants to ride. It's a shame it's not pulled off for him because I don't think he's not. I think he scored a couple of points so far.
He's.
But you know what? It's almost. I almost felt selfish riding when he really wants to ride, and I ride for fun.
Well, you've made no secret of that, have you? At the end of the day, you've always said like the pies and the e-speedway is your passion. And doing that's your hobby. Yeah,
and it's just a hobby. So, you know, I generally enjoy, or I did enjoy riding my bike. I didn't enjoy it when I was coming off and not finishing first. That wasn't enjoyable. But when I've had a few good races,
or in your own heat, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So you know. To allow him to have a proper go and stuff, I thought, it's no hard feelings for me at all. And
it's a bit of a no-brainer as well, isn't it? Like you said, you're not going to be there. You've missed a chunk. You've got other commitments, so let somebody who's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it did allow me to potentially book another guest booking afterwards for a team down south. They got in touch, but I was just like, I like Speedway, but I don't like travelling that far every other week.
Why not? I've seen what you turn up in.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That van's pretty epic.
Yeah. So, but again, like I said, I do it for fun, and it's just it's just not fun if you're travelling. I think it's just because I'm so busy. I
follow you on all the socials as well, and I've seen what you've been up to with your house business going on, and obviously the pies, and then your e-speedway and everything. It's
it's a lot.
It's pretty full on. I'm actually shocked that you've managed to squeeze like days and evenings off to ride for the Colts, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. And another thing I was doing was like literally working, no practicing, going to the garage, throwing the bike together, throwing my gear in the van and going to the races. And it's not with Speedway, it's a sport. You need to be in or out. You can't do what I did. It doesn't work. You have to be 100% committed. Your mind has to be focused on the job, because when it's not, you don't perform, you start getting in trouble, and then you don't have a good time. And that's pretty realistically what kind of happened to me this season. I didn't put the work in. I wasn't having as often rides as I should have been doing. I wasn't, because of this. It doesn't help as well, to be fair. There's only 12 meetings. When I first started Speedway, we had 24 league matches plus knockout cups and stuff.
Right.
You go back to when I did it, there was, which isn't that long ago, there was Coventry, Buxton, Lakeside, Isle of Wight, who else?
Birmingham were in there for a bit.
Birmingham. So that's 5 teams. That's 10 matches.
Straight away.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's home and away another 5 times.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy, really, when you think about that. And if you're not riding every week, especially to the level of I am, because even though I've been around the sport that long, I've actually only completed 3 seasons. So I'm still learning. So to learn, you've got to ride. You've got to be riding every week at least. Every week, if not every other week.
It's where someone like Conor Bailey's got it made, hasn't he? Because he's riding
Yeah.
all 3 leagues in Britain plus Poland.
Yeah, he's busy boy. He's probably going to be the favourite for the National League title, I would have thought. Again, he can get too burnt out though.
Yeah, of course.
And also, I see a lot of riders sometimes, if they take too much of a step, even though Connor's holding his own, you know what I mean? They go into the Championship, Premiership, they start getting beat. They don't like it. It messes with their head. They don't do any good.
Yeah. It's very psychological, isn't it, Speedway?
Super psychological.
As you said to me when we had that little chat a while back in the going up to the Craven Suite, you were like, my head just wasn't in it, and it showed on track. Yeah,
that's what I mean. If your head's not 100% in that game, it's no good. It's you've got to remember these bikes are doing 60 odd mile an hour. You're balancing on a tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
It
can go 3 other guys breathing down your neck whilst doing this.
You know what I mean? The thing is with the Speedway, you can't afford to make mistakes because there isn't the time to adjust. You know what I mean? One little mistake, if you're not doing things right, you lose half a second. That's it. That's your race done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you fall off, like it annoys me. I think the other week, well, it was the other week of a month. You know what I mean? I fell off in heat 2. My heat. You've just lost 3. You've just lost 3 points. You're a 3-point rider and you've lost 3 points already.
Was that the one where you came off between bend 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Just literally where your sign is in the
literally.
corner, you pretty much went, oh look.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I should, for me personally, I should win that heat every time, unless there's a superstar in it. I should be winning that heat or paid win or you know what I mean. But if you drop if you either fall or you get no points, it has a big swing on your night. That
especially if it's your first ride of the night as well.
Yeah, especially. So
that's the wet blanket you don't want.
No.
like you say, you want that first ride, you want the 3 points on the board, and then after that, whatever comes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you just want I wouldn't every meeting I go to, I would always, like, especially if I was in as a reserve, I'd always aim for I always called heat 2 my heat. Like, I'm winning it and that's it. Or I'd get a paid win. I was fuming if I got third. I was, I mean, I never got last usually, and if I did, I'd be spewing. But it never really happened. But to fall in it, it's just like it's just as frustrating. When I was at number 4, I would just aim to consistently come third or second if I can win it, which I did win quite a few. You know what I mean? It was a bonus, but there was no pressure as much to win as there is in heat 2 when you're regarded as a sort of better than reserve. There's more pressure on you, whereas I know I'm sort of like I would cast myself as a second string rider, number 2, number 4. I hate number 2, but I like number 4 or even number 3 because they're very similar. You know what I mean? As long as I can score 7 points, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But as reserve, like I say, I always felt that I needed to score more, and I just never did.
Fair enough. So is that the Kevlar's getting hung up for good now, or is it?
I'm just not going to race competitively. I'm still going
to come do track days and events and such.
I'm still going to do track days. I'm still going to keep my hand in it. I just can't commit to the race schedules. And to be honest, I do enjoy riding my motocross bike, my mountain bike. I've got the East Speedway bike. I'll be making another electric dirt bike soon. I've got
exclusives.
I've got like my house. I've got the business. I like doing so much stuff. I don't want to be restricted with a race calendar.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Like with a race, that's the other thing as well. Like people, you do give a lot up as a rider, especially if you're in, I don't know, say a relationship or you're working or whatever. when you get your race schedule, be it when it's the low one at 14 meetings, which let's say there's one a week at 14 weeks. If you imagined if you went to work and they just scrubbed 14 weeks off your calendar and said you can't go on holiday, that's what's kind of happening for them 14 weeks. If your mates say, "Oh, we're going to go away for this week," "Oh, I can't. I've got Speedway." "Oh, I'm going to go." "Oh, I can't. I've got Speedway."
Tomorrow you come in.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I've got to go Glasgow to ride, mate.
I've got to go Glasgow or whatever. And obviously that's for me. I'm at the lower league. The people that are higher up than me, do you know what I mean? You do give up a lot as a Speedway rider. It's quite surprising, really. If you've got, however, if you basically think from, April to give it middle of October, end of September, you're basically giving up
your entire summer.
You might get lucky. There might be a break, and you think, which we've had. There's been a couple of weeks, and you think, well, but there again, you'll have to go away then.
You've got no choice, have you? You've got 3 weeks there. You have to try and get somewhere there and then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's it. Like, you've got that, and that's it. And like, what's frustrating as well is sometimes you can, like, people like, "Oh, we're gonna go away this weekend." You're like, "Oh, sorry, mate, I'm racing," and the thing gets rained off, and you're sat at home with your thumb in your arse, and they're all having a good time as well. There's stuff like that. But it's surprising how much a Speedway rider will give up. I think that's another thing people don't think about is that, you give up a lot of your time.
That's quite an interesting thing to hear from, like you said, a lower league rider, because then you think of the GP riders as well.
It's career. It's more than a 9 to 5. It's a consistent job.
Well, yeah, because like the guys that ride in Poland, from speaking to Ty Wuffenden and seeing what he does online, they go to the gym, don't they? They do cardio and they do like muscle lifting, and they have dedicated days where they have to be at the track turning laps on a Wednesday, say, and whatever. It's absolute madness. It's like playing football in Poland.
To be fair, and I get that. I don't understand why we don't have practice days. In fact, Speedway in general doesn't have any practice days, really. It has at Scunthorpe and Leicester, and now at Bellevue. But that's it.
And they're like once every 2 or 3 months. It's not like it's a consistent thing.
I would love to have a track meet if I was getting into League Speedway. And I wonder if you could, even if it was National League or Championship, if you said to your riders, right, every Wednesday or every Thursday, be it, we have a practice and you have to show up. Do you know what I mean? And see how well that team would do at that track.
I think it'd come on leaps and bounds as a sport because, as you say, there's that little bit more professionalism. It's not like you say, wake up Friday morning, throw a bike together, load it into your van, drive down to Bellevue, get it mucky, get home, clean it off Saturday, and that's it till the following Friday.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'd be really interested to see if there would be a team that would potentially force that as a contract. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these riders now are asking for guarantees. So I would be like, right, okay, if you're going to ask for a guarantee, you come here every Wednesday, you do some laps. We go to the gym. We have a little workout as well. Like, it could be a full day. Do you know what I mean? Like, because literally, like, practice in the morning, we'll get you on the gym or whatever. Afterwards, wash your bikes or do whatever you want, give it to your mechanic. Come Friday night, it's go time.
I wouldn't be shocked to see the likes of Bellevue and Leicester especially doing that because they've got their own facilities, haven't they?
Yeah. I know Bellevue would struggle because of the sound, but I don't know what Leicester would get away with.
Yeah, but obviously you've got the gym next door, haven't you, at the sports village?
Exactly, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, get yourself in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Let's get fit. Like, it's surprising, really, some of these riders, they look like they come from a pub.
I was saying that to you a little while. Is it who was it in the British final? The guy that finished third? No,
Wait,
Ben.
no, Ben Barker.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, Ben.
I don't mean any shade on him, but he's a big lad.
He is, and like I say, he's
Stood next to Dan Bewley. It was like, wow.
That's what I mean. He's a fantastic rider. He's a sound bloke, and you always think, well, if he pushed himself,
How much better could he be?
How much better could he be? Nutrition, like especially like say when Bellevue, Richie Worrell is like with his thing. He was right. Weight is a big issue. Now he must be. He's got to be 20 kilos heavier than Dan Bewley.
Do you reckon it's that much?
Yeah, I'd say so. 15, 20.
Yeah,
You go and get 15 bags of sugar off the supermarket, stick them in your backpack and see how far you pedal.
Oh, I've been there, done that, mate.
Yeah. Do you know what I
I was
mean?
in the army for 5.5 years.
But at the same time, does that give him the strength to ride the way he does? I don't know. Because some people just have got a bigger frame. But I think, I don't think Ben will mind me saying that he's not in elite shape, is he? He's just, he's...
That's why I was saying I'm not meaning to throw any shade at him because I'm nowhere near an athlete whatsoever. But to look at him, he's a big unit.
Yeah. So I won't like a punch off him and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't get on the wrong side of him.
Yeah.
Do they not have regulations where like bike and rider have to meet a certain weight?
It's just the bike can't be under 72 kilos. I think.
Okay, so if your bike's 72 and say Dan Bewley 65, obviously, and then Stevie Worrell's 85 and his bike's the same mass,
that's what I mean.
Combined package, he's giving away 20 kilos.
It's 20 kilos, and like you think of the horsepower needed to power 20 kilos.
Yeah, the whole power to weight ratios then massively off. And
yeah, it's different, especially with the speed. Like the speed with flipping heck, it's a metal frame strapped to an engine. Do you know what I mean? It's not. You can't like I said. A lot of the riders, to be fair, when I was there with the FIM, all the bike were just about coming in on weight. So it's not like you can save a lot of weight with the bike because the bikes are at the bare minimum anyway.
Right.
But it was funny when I remember when I was with Honda and stuff like that, they would encourage John McGuinness to, reach weight because I remember Harvey, the team boss at Honda, was saying, we're spending like big money to lose 1-2 kilo, but if the rider's not losing the weight as much as the bike, it's pointless. But there again, John went out, absolutely smashed it. And again, like I said, it goes back to that thing, that John McGuinness is such a mega rider. Does he need to be fit? he just goes out and does the business every time.
Some people are just gifted, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they could just jump on whatever and ride it like.
Yeah. So, but yeah, bit of a mad one.
I've never thought of it like that. And obviously, with you being a rider, it's interesting to get your perspective on how things like that can make a difference.
Yeah, no, it can have a massive difference. Even with me, like I've put on a bit of turkey. Do you know what I mean? Like Kevlar's are a little bit tighter and stuff like that. You can't move. I can't move as much as I did. Do you know what I mean? Like getting old as well. That doesn't help. But it's surprising, really. When you're in good shape, how much you can work better.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. That. Go on then, Ruth.
I felt bad here. I've just been gassing away, and poor Ruth's the host at show. She's not said much.
She's like that going.
It's all good. It's all good. I didn't really do much prep, to be fair, because that's I got home from work. Like
I've not done any just
days as well, to be honest. So yeah, but feel like Nick, you put me on the spot now.
Come on then, Ruth. Who's gonna win? Let's go back to predictions. Who's gonna win?
I want to say Bellevue. To be fair, because I reckon they can cover Charles Wright's rides. Because with the riders they've got, the riders Mark Lemon's got at his disposal to cover Charles's rides. I reckon they can cover it quite well, but I don't know. Time will tell, won't it?
He's been
With the
bumped up to number
championship
2 as well. Charles
Yeah.
has. Whether that's just for the sake of the playoffs, so that more riders can take his rides.
It means he can put like Lidsey or Tom out in Heat 7.
8.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched Speedway. Birmingham season ended a couple of weeks back, so it's been a while. But I think with the championship, my friend was telling me over the weekend, I think Paul, with the mini league system, Paul have got to be careful that they won't be knocked out, because Scunthorpe are doing really well so far.
They're doing mega. And Red Car as well. So yeah.
Again, will Red Car season suffer a bit now because they've lost Charles?
They've lost Charles, haven't they? So
yeah. Not obviously try to put them down, but one rider can make a difference in a speedway team. Especially, like, to be fair, Charles is like number 1 in it, so it's and the captain and so on.
So it's even harder, I think, to lose your number 1, especially around Red Car, because he's double figures in it pretty much every time.
Easily,
so you know, to lose, who do you get in that can score that kind of longer?
It's a good question.
Max Frick. Agent Frick, as he's now being nicknamed.
Who's that?
Agent Frick.
Agent Frick, right. Oh, because he's doing a few different...
because he went to Sheffield the other night, didn't he? And they ended up getting beat.
He did quite poorly, didn't he?
Yeah.
And because obviously the whole playoffs last year, he really badly hurt himself, didn't he? And we got Robert Lambert in to take his place.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then this year, he's gone to Sheffield for a meeting as a guest, and they got beat. So everyone's like, "Ooh, Agent Frick at it again." Because he's a Bellevue rider through and through, isn't he? It's just sad how it worked out this season, not being able to accommodate him because we got Dan back.
Well, it was a shame, because Max he's a good rider, and he's a nice kid as well. He's a really sound guy. Got a lot of time for Max.
I briefly spoke to him once, and I was just like, "Joe, what? You're awesome."
Yeah, he's just always got a smile on his face. He's a happy lad.
Yeah, that's one thing I have noticed about Lemo's Aussie Army, as I call them. They're always smiling, even when they're not doing good. Brady's always smiling. J-Mo's always smiling. It's like, but you're getting beat by 30 points. Why are you smiling? But then again, you can say the same about yourself. You've always got a smile on your face.
Not when I'm racing. Not when I'm racing. Sometimes, if I'm having a bad day, I'll stay in my corner and I'll sulk.
Proverbial 2-year-old.
Yeah. Dummy comes out, and that's it. I'm sulking. So, and that's the other thing. It's hard to say, like, you know, when I'm being a pundit and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I like going a little bit on, like, "Oh, you've done this wrong." Do you know what I mean? And I think, Paul, what you're saying here, you didn't even do it right once. Do you know what I mean? They're probably thinking, "Hang on, I'd wipe the floor with Paul round the track. What's he telling me? Why is he telling me?
Why is he telling me how to ride?"
Yeah. So.
He's not scored a single point against me.
No. But again, I don't think you have to, you know, it does help to ride, but some of the best coaching can come from people that don't really ride and just good watchers.
Well, that's it, isn't it? A lot of the time you've got spotters as such that will sit there and just watch the track and watch the riders, and the only experience they've got is traveling with you every week. Yeah.
So, but you know, you can. Was it those that can't teach? Is it, or whatever the saying is? But
those that can't do teach, and those that can't teach do, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, a little take on that. So that's what I mean. It's funny when I tell the riders that, like, "Oh yeah, you've done this wrong," and I just sometimes think, like, Is he having me on here? It's all right when you've got Scotty Nichols saying it. Do you know what I mean? He can back it right up. But I don't think riding in the National League versus riding in the Grand Prix is quite cuts it the same.
Yeah. I don't know though. You've got experience, you've got knowledge. Just sometimes you weren't able to apply it to the situation. Like, try to drift a e-speedway bike on concrete.
Yeah, no, that was a terrible mistake. That one didn't work.
If that hurt.
It wasn't too bad actually because the speed wasn't there. You just need I need to get a different tire. The tire's just too soft. It rolls, it grips, it chucks you off, or it just gives way the other way. But yeah, riding on concrete's not the new way of speedway. I'll tell you that.
No. Get a like a MotoGP slick tire for it.
Yeah, I do think if I might try and like maybe stick a motocross tire on it or some kind of harder tire, because I still think it could work, and that'd be kind of a good way to have speedway as an all-weather thing.
Not only that, it's like getting kids going round cones in a circle.
Exactly.
Like if you turn up to a village fair, say, with it.
Yeah, you can get them going round on it.
Yeah, you can, because like you said in your vlogs and stuff, you can limit the horsepower and put it in as safe an environment as you can and just get them riding around on it to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I must admit, I would like a go myself.
You would?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm a massive defender of it, and people think I'm mad. They go, "Oh, well, it's not the future of the sport. There's no noise, there's no smell." Like, you can put the noise in the bikes, can't you?
Yeah, you could do that if you want. But I think it's only the noise is a byproduct.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's a combustion engine, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's going to be noisy.
Yeah, but have you ever got home, watched a really good meeting, and gone, "Oh, the sound was mint"?
No.
The
only sound I've ever commented on is the crowd noise.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you said, the crowd. Like, I would like to think that it would get the noise of the bike that people miss would get replaced by crowd. What would the participation?
You'd like to think so.
Wait, you get crowd noise at Bellevue? We haven't had any crowd noise at Birmingham all season.
We did get a bit of noise at the British final.
Yeah.
We've been getting a bit of noise as the season's drawing to an end. Yeah.
So,
but to be honest, it's been quite a rough season for us. So.
Yeah, it has been very rough. But there again, Ruth, to be fair, like when you look at Birmingham, do you know what I mean? Birmingham is it the second largest city? Is that correct? Second largest city. It's got a speedway track in it that has, let's face it, the least fans in the championship.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree to that.
Right. What the system is doing now ain't working. So would e-speedway, for instance, would that bring in students? How many students are at Birmingham?
Well, there's no uni campus in Perry Bar anymore. It's
is it not? That's that argument gone. But what I'm trying to say is that, do you know what I mean? There must be a lot of youth people in Birmingham that maybe, do you know what I mean, would come down to something new like that. I don't know, but it's just mad that Birmingham is the second largest city, yet the speedway fan is just, I don't know, it's not there, is it?
Must admit the crowds were up a little bit during the school holidays, but there was more kids there because it was school holidays.
Right.
But that's shocking as well, because
best time of year.
Don't you ride on Wednesdays and Fridays?
It's just Wednesdays, although that's going to change next season.
Oh, that's why Birmingham are going up.
Nope, Nigel said we're not going up to the Premiership.
Really? Oh, right. I thought that's another rumour I heard. Because your night's changing, isn't it? Because of the dogs. Is it going to Thursday nights or Tuesday nights? I'm
not sure. We're all in the dark at the moment. We haven't been told anything.
Yeah. From what I hear, you're going to Tuesday or Thursday nights, which is British Speedway nights. So
Oh yeah, Friday. I was sort of
Nah.
hoping it'd be Friday.
yeah,
That's National League, though, isn't it?
no, it doesn't matter. I don't think.
Oh, it's Friday, a bit of a free-for-all, is it?
Yeah, right. Tuesdays and Thursdays are British League Speedway, so basically, no Poland and Poland hire clubs and all that lot don't run on a Tuesdays and Thursdays, but they have Fridays.
Right.
They have Fridays and Saturdays, don't they? And I think Sweden have Monday and Wednesday or whatever it is. I don't know how it works, but all I know
Polish have got like the Wednesdays earmarked as well, haven't they? If there's a rain off or something, they need to squeeze a fixture in.
Yeah, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So we have Thursday, like I say, we have Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you to the almighty Poland. Do you know what I mean? But again, like you think they'd sit down and say, look, right, let's have every other Friday or whatever, so we can have some Fridays, because Friday and Saturday nights really are the one, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For travelling fans, I honestly don't know how people have the time off to watch Speedway.
Yeah, well, I watch ice hockey during the winter, and the difference between a crowd on a Sunday evening in comparison to a Saturday night is ridiculous. We could get like on a Saturday night last season, we got nearly 2,000 in, and then on a Sunday it could be like half that, and it could be just over 1,000.
Yeah, because again, like if you're working 9 to 5, how do you get to Wolverhampton? You know what I mean? You've got to push, haven't you, to get there for the start?
Yeah. I'm lucky though, because I work in Birmingham city centre, so I can just hop on the tram if I want to go to Wolves.
Right. Yeah, you sound. But like, do you know what I mean? In general, it's quite hard
for people like myself and Paul to get down there. It's at least 2 hours.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So it's you just
leaving at 4 or 5 o'clock to get there for tapes.
Yeah.
And if you're a rider, you got to be there even earlier.
And to be fair, Wolves is probably an easy example. You go to Plymouth, flipping Pool. Do you know what I mean? It's half a day off.
Ipswich and Peterborough.
Ipswich, yeah. Flipping out. I did Ipswich. The Knockout Cup on Thursday. Yeah, that was 4 hours. I left work. Like, I'm lucky. I'm self-employed. You know what I mean? But I left work at 2. Got there for 6. Did the meeting, come back, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I come back.
Yeah, half an hour sleep and then back up and at it again.
Well, back to bed. And I think I got up at like 7 and back into work again. But I do it because like I really enjoy it, and obviously working with BSN. But I thought if I was a support watcher, you know, and I came back at 2 o'clock and I knew I had work the next day, you'd think, nah, I'm not doing that.
That's it, yeah.
I consider myself lucky that where I'm based, there's like quite a few tracks nearby, because even Peterborough is not that far from where I am in the Midlands. I think it's about 2 hours.
So not anymore. It's not there.
Yeah. Well, they've got one more meeting, haven't they?
Have they? See, that's another team. Like, I don't get where it's come from. Like, all of a sudden they started winning.
They've had like in recent like weeks, they've had like one of the strongest teams they've had all season.
Yeah. And like I know they've got like Laguta. He's done nothing this year, has he? Really? He's not.
Sadly, not.
He's not done like him. I don't know whether he's done that on purpose.
Get his average down for next season.
Yeah. But like,
you look at how well Saifutuno's done.
Yeah. But Saifutunov, to be fair, he took him a few goals.
Yeah, but you know he's improved and got.
Yeah.
You know he's almost untouchable at any track at the moment.
Yeah, he is, and I think he's just got used to the British way of tracks. You know, when I was at Ipswich and speaking to some of the Aussies and that, they weren't that keen on that track. Do you know what I mean? Because when they go to Poland, them tracks are groomed. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, it's right. Like the groomed are like, you come to some of these and they're rough as toast.
Well, it's like we were saying earlier, though, isn't it? Poland Speedway is above football.
Yeah.
So the riders are treated more like athletes. The track's treated how we treat the football pitch over here.
Yeah.
Down to the minutest millimetre of gravel or shale gets swept off. And it's...
And to be fair, I don't understand why all tracks like, let's face it, Bellevue as a track works the best out of every other track. Let's just be straight. That track. Speak to every rider. What's the best track in the UK? Bellevue.
Well, most of the riders that we've had on, first thing out their mouth is either Bellevue or Scunthorpe.
Yeah. Maybe not say Scunthorpe, but I would say
Track surface wise, not facilities and surroundings.
Yeah. To be fair, like, Scunthorpe does ride well. It just sometimes catches you out with, drainage or whatever, or holes or metal girders or whatever in there. No, it's a good track. It's a good track.
Well, you wouldn't have held your event there if it wasn't good.
No, that's what I mean. Like, and I generally, to be fair, that track gets more hate than it deserves because it's a very good track and it's one of the best tracks to practice on. And it's, I think a lot of people don't realise how much use that track gets. So to prep it perfectly every time must be a very hard job. That track's getting used every week. Again, it's the only practice track in the UK. You know what I mean? It's getting used every week, and to make it mint must be quite hard. To be fair to Rob and the team. But going back to Bellevue, the surface is mint, the ground's mint. Why don't they take whatever they've got at Bellevue and slap it on every other track? Just make a smaller version of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Mildenhall, no offence to him, one of the most dangerous tracks in UK. Right.
I've been in the track walk there. You always see like bits of shrapnel from the stock cars and the tail.
Bits of shrapnel. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they do there, like, again, like, I've rode it, and to be fair, once it's riding right, it does ride all right. But I don't understand why they just don't. Right, what we'll do is we'll just take exactly what we've got at Bellevue, put it in Mildenhall. That way, there's less accidents. Everybody knows what the track should ride like. Yeah, it's mid, but it doesn't happen, does it?
You need to send Chris Morton round everywhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, Chris Morton and Andy Meredith or whatever. Just literally, I just, they know that shale works. This putting clay in it and all this lot. Look at what they've done at Kings Lynn, ruined the track. There's riders struggling to go around there. Laguta, I think that's why he left Kings Lynn or didn't turn up, because he couldn't get round it. Because they put all this, they're messing about, doing whatever they're doing with track. Just
right.
Leave it be, and just have a track exactly like Bellevue, but different shapes.
Material, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've had issues with material at Brum the last couple of weeks. I think it was not the Plymouth one, but the one before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
track was breaking up.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, they're using different. Although, to be fair, I think Birmingham's changed the shell recently. Well,
it has. Since Nigel took over, it's been ripped up and relayed in the close season both times.
Yeah, and to be fair, like that track done better. I tell you another good track that's come round well. Leicester's doing bits to their track, and that rides well compared to what it used to. So it can be.
Track guy the same for Birmingham and Leicester.
I'm not too
or
sure.
Does he help out?
No, Dixon's just team manager at Birmingham.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, we've got a dedicated track guy at Birmingham, but he's been slipping the past season. I'm going to be honest, he's been slipping a bit. And I don't know much about track prep.
I knew there was a crossover between Birmingham and Leicester somewhere, but I wasn't sure exactly where. Because
Justin Sedgman's been saying, especially towards the end of the season, that the track was different every week. And you can't expect your skipper to not have faith in the home track.
Mm.
And like I heard that there was no team atmosphere either this year. I heard that it was like really bad, which is why they've just not been able to put the results together that they needed.
It's a shame, really, because on paper, I thought Birmingham wasn't a bad team.
I thought so as well, especially with Nick Morris coming in.
Yeah, Nick Morris. Like I said, Sedge, he's a good rider on his day. And he's a very good captain as well, I would say.
He's dead honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 He's dead honest.
Yeah, Jimmy Pop at the beginning of the season.
He's what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pop
James Pearson.
Pearson.
What's that?
He was a Brum rider at the beginning of the season as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to James because James got lost out due to the averages, wasn't it? I can't remember because he brought someone in. But James
Sam
is...
What in
Hagen.
Bachelor and
Yeah.
Hagen?
Yeah, I think it was to do with it. It wasn't so much James's fault. It was the next person up, wasn't it? Because they wanted a higher pointer. I think that's if I remember rightly.
It was something like that. Yeah, it was a bit of an overhaul mid-season,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I must admit, I did hear one wild rumor before the end of the season.
Go on then, give us a wild rumor.
Go into the
Apparently,
next
Birmingham
season.
tried to sign Vadim Tarasenko
Really?
before Peterborough did, because he wanted to come over here anyway, but it fell through.
Right. Well, to be fair, if you're up against, you say, was it Pete? I thought it was Glasgow.
This was before he decided to do Championship. This was like before he came to the UK.
Right, yeah. Well, as soon as money starts talking, that's when you probably lose out in it, really.
But,
Yeah, I've heard Bowen to the Brummies next season. Let's get the mad Speedway rumour mill going.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. If you want to come ride for us, then I won't complain.
You will do when I don't score any points.
Oh no, I'm not like that. I'm not one of those fans who thinks they know it all.
Yeah, you'll complain when he doesn't bring the pies because he's dropped them off at Bellevue on the way down.
Yeah.
No, I'm not one of them fans. You get the fans on the terraces that go, oh, well, they need to do this and they need to do that. I'm like, you go out there and you get on the bike there and you do it if you think you're so special.
So, well, that's it. It's, but I do think, although it's never nice as a rider to receive the sort of like, oh, he's no good and he's this or he's that, you've got to remember as a rider, you know, it's part and parcel of it. You know, if you're not performing well and the fans are having a go, that's what happens. Obviously, do you know what I mean? It can be taken too far sometimes, but that, you know, you can't have it forever. We can't have it in a sport like football doesn't have it, where you go, oh, they didn't do so well this time. Let's give the manager another go. Usually it's like, sack him, get rid, shot him. Do you know what I mean? Like, get someone else. Do you know what I mean? And that's part of it, unfortunately.
Well, look at last season, Jason Doyle with the bin when he lost his temper and hit that Bellevue fan with the bin.
Yeah. But, like, to be fair, like, I like stuff like that. I think
But the lad had been giving Ipswich stick all night, Doyley in particular. Every time one of their reserves and rising star had a poor heat, proper got on the back of the young lads, and Doyley just went, right, I tell you what, boom.
Good play to him then, honestly.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that.
But it's because even Doyley himself had a bad night that night. He had a mechanical and a chain slip.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
4 heats, I think it was. Obviously, 2 of them were dead. And then in his others, he didn't finish too well. That's
not going to help him out. He's not going to like that.
No, because he's a bit of a hothead in the best of times, isn't he, Mr. Doyle?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, he won't. He's one of the only riders, to be fair, I give up now. On BSN, during the meeting, he just won't speak in the booth.
Really?
No, he just... But to be fair to him, it was because I said, like, he just wanted me, like, a race. He had 2 spur to go, so I thought, perfect time, get him in. You know, just after his win. Like, just now, he's like, no. I was like, all right, mate, no worries. Like, if you don't want to do that. But then...
I've noticed in the GPs as well, Scotty won't go anywhere near him during the meeting itself now.
Yeah, but then as we're watching, he's like, oh, sorry, mate, I'll come and talk to you later. Do you know what I mean? I think he knew that he was like, it weren't rude or anything. It's just like, you know, part of the stuff that I do, like getting you in the booth, is not. It's good for you. It's more good for you. It benefits you more than it benefits me.
Yeah, because I'm in the booth all night. You know, you coming in and having a 2-minute chat, I'm going to put a ray of light on you.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like your sponsor logos, you know, from everything really, like fan. You know what I mean? People might say, you know, because when like people like that talk a lot, you do hard not to get a fan of when you speak, because when you speak on the microphone and you talk about your race, a lot of people say, "Oh, I like him." You know, even like the Thompson twins, the quietest ones in the booth. Do you know what I mean? But they come in, they do the bit, and you'll see like, "Oh yeah, well, what a great young lad that Dan is." And you know, you've got to remember these are like 16, 17-year-old kids. Do you know what I mean? They're getting that bit in now, getting used to that. They'll be the confident ones.
They'll be the Matty Dagars in a few years.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Again, like it's part and parcel of it. Like the media training in Speedway needs improving. You know, a lot. It's easy to say to the promoters, but actually, I'll put it out there. A lot of the riders need to get their finger out of their arse and start doing some decent social media content.
Yeah.
I'm loving what Glasgow are doing lately. Speaking of social media content.
Yeah, with the TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You know, you've got Bomber and Tom Brennan and is it Vassin?
Yeah.
Making absolute melons of themselves doing these TikTok dances in the pits. But why not?
To be honest, we can't comment about social media because we're terrible at keeping up the Drop the Clutch Facebook page.
Yeah, but you keep it going. You know what I mean? But like, say, yeah, but at the same time, this is not your job, Ruth. Do you know what I mean? This is just a passion. Some of these riders, that's their job. I don't get why they just don't employ some young kid, pay him £250 a week, come with you, film you.
I would happily do that to get out of my job.
Exactly.
Same.
I hate my job.
So, you know what I mean? Go and see the world or whatever, or go and see part of the thing and just pay someone to come with you. But
I'd happily just follow a ride around with a camera, taking photos, taking video and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, Scott did with Ty last season when Ty was doing all his vlogs online. He paid a photographer and videographer to follow him around for a year.
That's what I mean. Like, but there again, that's kind of fallen now because he doesn't do his YouTubes anymore. You know what I mean? I think he just expected it to set off.
He trimmed everything back during the off season because it was getting too much for him.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? That's again, like if I was a Speedway rider now, if I was in that, this is advice to any sort of GP rider now, like go and do a YouTube channel, start doing proper content, get someone in on your media. Do you know what I mean? All right, I've got next to now on my YouTubes, and to be fair, I've not done one for a while, but I got a few quid the other month. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just keeps you going. Like, but if I times mine by say 3, 4, 5, you think, oh, that'd be worth getting someone to do it for me.
Yeah. Or actually putting out a little bit more content.
Or putting out a little bit more content. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. Speedway riders just stuck in that kind of, oh, give me my money. So
that old-fashioned rut.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anything else for us, Ruth? Before I go off topic again.
Did you two see the article about Perry Barr and the planning application?
No, is it again housing again?
Yeah. A group of us have been.
Jump in, guys. I need to get off to go and put my little one to bed.
All right. Well, do you want to call it a night?
We have been talking for well over an hour, to be fair.
Yeah. Finish at that, Ruth. Finish it at that.
All right, I'll do a quick outro then. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. This has been episode 27. Bye for now.
Ciao for now.
You've just finished listening to another episode of the Drop the Clutch podcast. Thanks for listening. We appreciate the support. Have a good week and we'll catch you on the next one.